Today we're going to discuss which is the better metal to stack. Is it silver or is it gold? Or is it both? Stacking Cat. Welcome to the Stacking Cat channel, where I talk all things silver with a little bit of gold. If you want to see more of this type of content, then please subscribe and push that notification bell. If you enjoy this video, then hit that like button. Hey there everyone, I hope everybody out there is having a great day. And today we're going to discuss a pretty hot topic around the stacking community and just precious metals in general, which is silver versus gold, and just which is the better metal to stack at this particular moment. We've seen the price of both metals go up. Gold's gone up a little over $100 over the past couple of weeks. Silver's gone up about $2.50. So they're kind of following each other up the ladder. But we're going to discuss a few things to get beyond just what spot price is and all of that. We're going to talk about what it's like to stack either of these metals, the importance of either, how they both could play out as a savings in the future. And they both have much different functions. So we're going to get into all of that. And I'm going to title this video Silver or Gold or both. And the answer first off the bat is both. You want to stack both of these metals. You want to diversify your holdings as much as you can. I would not suggest, and remember, I'm not a financial advisor or analyst, like a lot of us here on YouTube are not, but we put our stacking strategies out there and we like to show how we do it. So I hope everybody out there gets something out of this video and all of the other videos that I put out. But we're going to talk about diversifying both. You do not want to put in all of your holdings into precious metals. The rule of thumb I've heard is anywhere between like 5% all the way to 25%. Now the 5%ers are probably like the big fish, the ones that are holding millions of dollars and they just want a little of that physical security. I probably put myself more in that 25%, maybe even higher than that. Just because of my financial situation, and it's just precious metals are fun to stack and put away as a savings, a hedge against inflation. And remember, inflation is baked into this economy. Now, we may see higher numbers than we have in the past, but you're always going to see like 1% to 2% every year. And so that hedges against it. If you just had everything as paper money, fiat money, as it is right now, that we of course use as currency with all of our transactions, whether it is buying goods, paying for services, whatever it is, you are using fiat currency, and that's the system we are in. So it is something that we just have to go with, whether we like it or not. But this is a great hold, a great savings, because in the long run, $25, or I'll do what a American Silver Eagle is, for example, is what right now, about with a premium, you're paying maybe $40 for one, 38 to 40. If you take that $40 and you set it aside for, I don't know, 10 years, it will still just be two $20 bills. But this will be worth a lot more, maybe not a lot more, but it will definitely hold its value and then some. This piece of silver, this American Silver Eagle, will get you more than the dollars will, just because the dollar will decrease over time and this will stay the same. That is why it is known as one of the better hedges against inflation when it comes to any type of investment, insurance, whatever you want to call it, savings. And so that's why we stack. But let's talk about the differences between the two metals. We will start off with silver here. Now, silver is much more of a metal that is valued for its utility. Now, this has to do with its lower price and the amount that you can accumulate. And by utility, I mean it is very versatile. If you ever had to go sell like a silver round back to your coin shop or in a private sale, it's a lot easier to function with some of this silver than it is with maybe gold, due to the price primarily, and the fact that silver's always had that descriptor about it. We've seen in industry right now how much silver is being used. So you have the utility of silver in that sense, but it's also in its liquidity. It's just a lot easier to sell because of how much more affordable it is. If you go to a coin shop with 25 ounces of gold, the person's going to owe you like around 50 grand. It might be a transaction that takes a while. You might have to go through some IRS forms, and it's just not a great business. Well, it's a great business deal, but it's not a fast business deal is what I should say. But with silver, it's really quick. You walk in there with like a roll of eagles or a roll of maples here, and you'll be able to sell it off really fast. Any coin shop, especially today with the demand being so high, will always purchase it. Now, silver, we usually buy in 1 ounce amounts minimum. Now, there is fractional silver. Of course, we have 90% constitutional junk silver, whatever you want to call it. Like these little dimes here are just 0.06 of an ounce. Now, fractional silver, I don't know if you want to be purchasing it in 3/9 form. It's generally a lot more expensive and something that you might not want to pay a higher premium on. If you're going to go the fractional silver route, go with that 90%. And of course, if there's ever an SHTF situation and silver is used as a form of payment or some of this old 90%, the dimes, the quarters would really come in handy. I'm not one of those who think it would ever get to that point. I think you would need, or if it did come to that point, I think you would need something a little bit more than just silver, because probably like 90% of the population doesn't even realize that there was silver in coinage 1964 and prior to that year. So a lot of people wouldn't even know what you were talking about. I think there would be a lot greater needs, gasoline, security, that type of stuff. But that's not what this video is about. I just want to kind of talk about the different forms of silver. Of course, you can buy larger silver items. This is the beautiful 5-ounce Aztec. They make this in the 1, 2, and 5-ounce size. It would be cool if it did come in the 10-ouncer, but this is still a nice chunky piece of silver with great detail and artwork. One of my favorite rounds out there in any of the sizes, but with this 5-ouncer, you really get a lot of that detail, and it's the Aztec calendar. So you can get them in larger sizes. Of course, 10-ounce bars are probably the most popular of the large size silver bars. Of course, you have 100 ounces, 1,000 ounces, but those don't really have as much appeal. I would say that's more of just like throw it in your safe and never bring it out. You have to lug those things around. They are really heavy. And so that's something that you also have to consider. So silver is basically the utility of it and the liquidity of it, and just the commonality as well. You could find it anywhere. You could pick up these 4 rounds right here anytime, really. A lot of the bullion sites are not sold out, although that was the attempt, but a lot of them are still have their shelves stocked. Coin shops, I guess, is a little more anecdotal. Some have a lot and some don't, but silver's there. You can just buy 1 ounce a week, 1 ounce a month, whatever it is, and you could just stash it away and save it for a rainy day for your future. It's a savings account. So let's talk to gold, though, which is much more under the tradition of wealth. And what I mean by that is the amount of money it costs. It also has the significance or the aura around it of just being this fine yellow metal. And it is beautiful, but it's really expensive. So here's a 1 ounce Canadian gold maple. This thing will cost you right now like probably around a $100 premium on top of spot price. So you're paying nearly $2,000 for it. Now, fortunately, most states, I know there are a few that do not have a cap on taxes. Where I am, it's a $1,500 cap. I know a lot of states do $1,000. I know a lot of states don't have any, and I am extremely jealous of that. I just don't think bullion, silver or gold should be taxed. But in these circumstances, if you're buying a whole ounce in a lot of the states out here in the US, you will not have a tax on it. And so you can just go ahead and purchase it for whatever the premium above spot is. However, that's a lot of money. It takes a while for a lot of us to save up nearly $2,000. And I actually got this on a gold to silver ratio trade. I will put that video right up there in the corner. I'm trying to point and hold this at the same time. Right there in the corner when I traded for this one. And so that's the only way I was able to get it. But one good thing about gold, another good thing, I should say, more than one good thing, is the ability to buy fractional gold. So you could go ahead, if you do not have the financial means to just go with a $2,000 purchase right now, you can get like a quarter ounce maple, or you could go ahead and get like a quarter ounce gold eagle for a lot less. You're paying a quarter of the price. The premiums will be a little bit higher. I've seen the 1 ouncers on a lot of coins, maybe not the American Gold Eagles right now, but certainly on the maples in the 6 to 7% range. And you'll probably get a quarter ounce and maybe the 10 to 15%, depending on where you buy it. Now, there's not only modern bullion to consider, you also have old pre-1933, gold out there. Here's an old 1903 $5 Liberty head. So these things are really fun to stack. You get the history of it as well. They're a little less than a quarter ounce. They are 0.2419 ounces of gold. However, just a fun piece to own from the US Mint. They usually carry a pretty good premium as well, especially now. The premiums have gone a lot higher on the pre-33 stuff. I'm focusing more on the modern bullion because those premiums seem to be lower. A year and a half ago, the pre-33 had the premiums a little bit lower. So that is one of the reasons why that I'm going with the modern stuff. However, I do love that pre-33 as well. And so why is it important then to also have fractional? Not just because of the price you will pay. It is because if you ever came into a situation where you needed money and you had to sell, you would not have to sell that full ounce at once. So here's a 2.5 pesos. This is, I believe, 0.06, 0.07 ounces from Mexico. You could get a 1/10 ounce Eagle or Maple or Britannia or Kookaburra, whatever one you have. Now, the 1/10 ouncers usually carry a really high premium. You're probably always going to pay 20% or above. So I always try to have the quarter ounces be my bottom dollar. And if I can't afford one, I'll just save up and just not buy for that week until I have enough money to buy both of them. I just think they are the most versatile of all the gold. Like I said, let's say you needed $1,000 for something. Your water heater blew. Who knows what the situation might be, right? Where you have to come up with some quick cash. Now, if you have that whole ounce, you would have to sell the entire thing at once, and then you would be out a full ounce of gold, and you'd have $1,000 or so, maybe a little bit less in fiat, and it just defeated the whole purpose. But if you could sell 2 quarter ounces, or even like just this half ounce, which is a good size as well. Here's a 2021 Gold Eagle. Still need to get a capsule for this bad boy, but same thing, same difference. You could just sell that and you don't have to worry about getting rid of an entire ounce. As a matter of fact, when I started stacking, the first gold purchase I ever made, I almost bought an ounce. I was going to buy a 1 ounce. I believe it was I want to say it was probably a maple. I don't think it was an eagle. And the coin shop owner said, hey, well, we have this option. And so instead I bought a couple of quarter ouncers and a half ounce, and he charged me the same price. I didn't have to pay any extra premium. However, now you probably would, but this was, 3 years ago or something. So I was able to get it at that price. And his rationale was just what I told you. If you were ever in a pinch and a pickle and you had to sell, you wouldn't have to get rid of a full ounce of gold. You would just have that quarter ounce of gold. And if you needed $500, bam, there you go. Now, I'm not advocating for selling any of your gold or silver right now. I just think that there's certain times in our lives that things come up, financial hardships come up, you lose a job, who knows? But that's why you are, or we all are, holding these precious metals for those type of instances. Now, it'd be nice to make it all the way to retirement age intact with all your precious metals and never having to sell, or just passing them on to your kids, whatever you're choosing to do. But life happens sometimes, and sometimes you do have to sell. And so that's why I like the fractional gold. And that's where the silver, I think, really comes into play as well. It is much more, like I said, a utilitarian metal. even for the physical metal owner, it's just not an industry. If you wanted to go sell a couple of tubes, you can get away with that, and you could have your gold to preserve for the long run. Silver is a little more volatile in price. We have seen it really suppressed a little bit. The price is getting higher, much more on par where it probably should be, but we'll see what the powers to be end up doing. But silver is a little more volatile. You see higher swings. Gold usually it's the more conservative metal just because of its stored value of wealth. For thousands of years, people have always considered that. That's why you see people, when you get like jewelry, gold is always the top of the line. It's just the more valuable metal. But it's silver, I think Silver Joker always talks about this. It's the working man's metal. And that's true. That's exactly what it is. And therefore, we could use it in that way. And of course, another big consideration is the storage factor. The amount of silver it takes to equal gold is far greater. You're going to have to find a safe or something where you're going to be storing all of this. When gold, you could just put it in your pocket. I don't know if you want to carry it with you necessarily, but it's a lot easier. The storage space is so much smaller. Like just these 2 ounces right here is the equivalent of 132 ounces right now of silver. So that really adds up. Storage space is a big plus in the side of gold. And so you're going to always want to take that into consideration when it comes time to purchase whatever you are going to go for, whether it is silver or gold here. So in conclusion, I know I already came up with the answer, but stack both, diversify. I'm not saying what you should do in terms of, should you have like a 100-to-1 silver to gold ratio, 1,000-to-1? Should you have a 10-to-1? That's totally up to you and how you want to stack. I try to bring mine. I think I've gotten my silver to gold ratio down to about 50-to-1, and it took me a while to work on it. I was all in on silver at first, and now I've just found gold to be a better buying opportunity at this moment, as premiums are a lot lower. Like the Eagles are still sitting at 30% premiums, and you could get a gold maple at 6 or 7%. So you're saving right there, your dollar cost averaging, all of that. And if you've watched my videos, I talk about that a lot. I am a big proponent of dollar cost averaging. It will help you in the long run, and that's what we're here for. This is a long-term hold, and that's why we stack. Okay, so I hope that you all enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. I always do appreciate it. And if you'd like to see similar videos about silver with a little bit of gold, then please subscribe and push that notification bell, smash that like button, and leave a comment. And until next time, this is the Stacking Cat.